on here.
Say what?
High-tech animation.
I'm telling you. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Stunt Collective podcast. Hang on. We're still in quarantine, so it is the Quarantine Collective. Yeah, we're still in it. We are still practicing social distancing. Don't worry, here at the studio. It's your boy, Jupe Katana, and on the show today, we have none other than the indomitable Diesel Dave Anthony Buglione.
What's up,
Yeah,
Jupe?
what's happening, man?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being on the show. It's like, Hollywood Dave over here. He's big time now. So, Dave, actually, before I talk about Dave, let's talk to the audience a little bit. You know him from the TV shows that you've watched, and you're going to see a lot more of him. But those of you who live in Florida and California, you know him personally too, because Dave gets around, yeah?
You could say so.
So today we're going to get to have a little character bio of Dave and get to know a little bit about how you came up in the business. Because, I mean, let's see, where are you originally from?
New York, Long Island, New York.
From Long Island, New York, yeah. And, I mean, did you always have dreams and aspirations of becoming an actor, a stuntman?
Well, it's funny that you actually say that. When I was 6 years old, I started martial arts, right?
Yeah.
And everybody always asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was just like, I want to be like Van Damme, you know? I want to kick like Van Damme. I want to fight like Van Damme. And goes to show you, some odd years later, I'm actually doubling Jean-Claude Van Damme now in movies.
Freaking awesome, man.
So it's pretty cool.
That's really cool. We're going to get into that a little bit because I asked for you to send Brett some of your information and stuff like that. And we do want to watch that. But so you said you started studying martial arts at the age of 6?
I started Chinese Kempo at the age of 6 years old, yep. And then I started amateur fighting, point karate competitions, was regional champion, Northeast champion up in New York. And at the age of 13, something clicked in me, and I was just like, you know what? I want to start hitting people. So my trainer was just like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I started training full contact kickboxing. 16, I started amateur kickboxing. At 18, I turned pro. At 19, I was the youngest member of the WAKO World Kickboxing Team.
Nice.
And I went over to Gdansk. I think I'm saying that right. Gdansk, Poland.
Oh, okay. Is that like a dance studio? Gdansk.
And then 2 years later, I became the USKBA World Welterweight Champion.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. Welterweight. What weight division is that? What are the? Is it the same as boxing?
That was like 147 to like 154.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you represented Team USA.
Yep.
Right? That's pretty cool, man. And you were only 19 years old?
19 years old, yeah.
You were on top of the world, yeah?
Pretty much, man.
So did you know then that you were going to get in the movies, or did you still, what did you get into at that age?
Well, it goes back to what I said when people asked me at 6 years old when I first started martial arts. People are like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And like I said, I always wanted to just be a martial arts, superstar like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Mm. And I guess I maybe manifested that at the age of 6, and I kind of put it out in the universe. But after I got done fighting and kickboxing and doing that stuff, I started actually training actors. How to do fights and stuff for TV and film.
And this is in New York?
This is in New York.
Okay.
And then, moved down to Florida and, got hooked up with the right guys, five guys.
The five guys. Oh, God.
And had an opportunity to work down in Miami. Got my SAG card and then moved out to L.A. and just been going gangbusters ever since.
The rest is history. So what was that first movie in Miami that you worked on that got you your SAG card?
I got my SAG card and Taft-Hartley on CSI Miami.
CSI Miami, nice. Yeah. Nice. So back to being 19 and here's the thing. A lot of people have dreams and aspirations of becoming, getting into the business in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But did you take any steps towards doing that? For instance, usually when I talk to somebody who's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I wanted to get into dance, or I wanted to get into acting. They're doing drama in high school. They're doing the theater programs. They get their bachelor's degree in fine arts at the college that they're close to, or whatever the case is, and then they kind of get into that. Mm-hmm. But there's another route that you took. And so, did you, head on go into trying to get into acting jobs and stunt jobs in New York? You said you didn't get that until you got here in Miami.
Yeah.
So Was it just a matter of, hey, I just happen to be around the right people and this is something that I've been wanting to do anyway? Or did you like look for like the connections?
Well, it wasn't until I, moved down here to Florida where I got hooked up with the right guys, and started training with those guys, and taking my full contact experience of actually hitting people to actually not hitting people.
Them. That's the hardest thing. That's the
and doing
hardest thing.
fake fights. And it was just like, wow, it was a hard transition for me because, I was fighting for almost 20 years of my life and then going from, knocking people out, to all of a sudden, you're 6 feet away and, making everything look good for the camera. It was a hard transition for me. But I just stuck with it, man. And it wasn't that easy. It was years later until I finally got an opportunity to, double one of the leads, Adam Rodriguez, on CSI Miami, because they needed somebody to drive boats, which, growing up on Long Island, New York, I grew up with boats, water skiing, wakeboarding, and all that stuff. That knows how to shoot guns and fight.
And look convincing.
My name was brought up in the mix, and I was given an opportunity, and I took that opportunity, man, and I haven't looked back.
That's amazing. I'm glad you did because for those of you that don't know, Dave and I are actually real-life friends, and we've been through some crazy stuff.
Oh, man.
Maybe we'll get into that later. But for those of you who are watching and wondering, how can I get into this kind of business? When you came to Florida, did you originally come to Florida with a view to like getting linked up with the right kind of people, or were you here already for some other work and then,
I moved here for a girl.
Oh, see, now that I didn't know. That's new. You moved here for a girl.
It's actually a funny story, and I'm glad
it's perfect, man. Life brought you there, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, man, everything works out the way it's supposed to. I met this girl. We were, I was working in Club Med.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was doing all the scuba diving, snorkeling. I was taking people out on boats and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, not to get into too much of that, but I wanted to meet a girl, falling in love, and moved to Florida for her.
So, see, that's what I mean. It's like you just don't know. Like in your case, that was like kind of in the back of your head, wanting to get into the business.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people that are trying to like, they really want to get into the business, it really is all a matter of like where regionally you're in, what part of the world you're in. I don't imagine that if you're living in one of the interior states where there's not a lot of production, it's not known for that kind of business to be around, it may not necessarily happen. I do know some people from like Oklahoma and they got into the stunt business, but they ended up moving to Florida or they ended up moving to California, and that's where the connections happen. So it was really lucky that you kind of ended up in Florida at just the right time too, because when you got here, and met, some of the people you were talking about, like Phi Long Wen. I think that was kind of like a lot of stuff was going on at the time in Florida.
Orlando was booming at that time.
Yeah, it was. And hopefully it booms again. We don't know, but that was definitely it. So you're bi-coastal. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So Brett, could you start pulling up the some of the reels actually? And I want to do an order because like you sent us like an actual boxing reel, some footage. I remember seeing your very first demo video.
You told me to send you some stuff, and you were like, "Can you send that real first stunt demo that you have?" And it was like, you were actually knocking guys out. I'm like, all right, I'll send it to you.
I remember the first time I saw that video because I think I was trying to submit you for the India project that we did. Either that or the Crescent Moon. But anyway, one of those. I'm like, this is an interesting demo video because while most people are fake fighting, this video's got Dave actually like connecting punches, and I'm like, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to work with this guy. It was awesome. It's great. Pull it up, Brett, so we can take a look and we can all enjoy. I love this video, by the way. Look at that. It's like real hits, man. Now you can tell. Wow, I love that.
There you go.
Connection to the face.
That was my famous skip side kick. Pump it once.
Look at it. Blood in the mouth. This guy's the real deal. It's like, do we want this guy punching at us? That's what we thought. Look at him. Look at that mean mug at him, man. Oh, yeah.
And you could tell by the quality of this video, it was a little time ago. And this was actually the auditions for Transporter 2 down in Miami.
I remember that, man.
Yeah.
Good times. We all drove down.
We all went down there.
Nice.
And this is a funny story, just to go back into the whole Hollywood business kind of thing. Me and Pete Alunde there, we actually got...
I was going to say, that's got to be Pete, because judging from the bandana that he was wearing,
yeah,
famous bandana that he used to wear, that's Pete right there right now.
Yep. But me and Pete actually got cast in Transporter 2. We had our contract signed, everything ready to go, and then I forget what hurricane came through, but
I remember this.
One hurricane came through and just totally blasted Miami, and they wound up taking that scene that we were supposed to do, and I think they went over to France and they shot it or something. But it just goes to show you, when you think you got something.
2004-ish, wasn't that?
That was about 2004, 2005.
Yeah, I do remember that hurricane coming in. And I remember that Pete and I were supposed to be part of like this fire hose fight.
I was part of that too. I think we were all.
Yeah, I didn't get to get in Transport 2 at all, because like that whole thing was just completely.
Yeah, us too. Yeah.
And so, as far as I was concerned, I was like, man, there goes my chance to get Taft-Hartley. And I didn't really fully understand the business back then. I kind of just let people. I mean, I had a whole situation going on in my life at that time anyway, so I wasn't really like proactively seeking the job, but I did want it still. And I ended up getting Taft-Hartley as an actor. Which is crazy, because that's not what I was going for.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, back to Dave. So now you were a real life point and contact fighter, and you got into the business of stunts. Let's take a look at the other video, Brett, that he sent us, because I think this one was it was another action reel, right?
I believe I sent you 2 action reels.
Okay.
I don't know which one is going to get pulled up now.
Because I kind of want to go in order of what you did and then kind of where you're at now. Wait, Brett, wait. Actually, I forgot. Okay, so you talked about your title, and I asked you to bring a few things over here. Can you show us the belt that you have?
All right, since you asked me to bring it in, I'll just bring this little thing in that I got right here. Whoa, baby.
Yeah.
So, it was my world championship belt that you told me to bring in.
Yeah, because I remember that being featured prominently in the boxing video that right now, maybe nowadays, doesn't look as clear and crisp, but I do remember seeing that.
Brings back so many memories.
Does it smell like blood? No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, it actually smells pretty good.
That's awesome, man. Where do you keep that in your house?
Right over my on the side of my bed, right over the end table. Nice. I have this actually in a glass frame. So it sits right there.
Nice.
Next to some of my other achievements.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's good to remember what you've done to kind of keep propelling you into the future. I think a lot of people kind of sort of mistake that for like, oh, look what I've done. It isn't that. It's a reminder of where you came from. You know what I mean? And why you deserve what you earn. Because that's, self-doubt could be a huge killer in this game. I know that's what's hurt me. For sure.
Well, we got to change that, man.
Hey, that's why I'm over here, just being vulnerable, letting everybody see.
Let's change that.
So, Brett, could you pull up, before we go into the action reel, pull up the clips with Van Damme real quick. I got to see that. And honestly, I didn't get to watch all of this stuff, so this is kind of my first time seeing some of this. I just glossed through it because I was... Nice. So were you getting kicked?
So, yeah, this is me doubling Jean-Claude Van Damme in Universal Soldier 4. Fighting Scat Atkins, who is a beast, and that kick hurt.
Oh, he got you for real?
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, there's only one way to do it, right?
But, there was a... And then we don't need to see any of this other stuff.
I think it looks... I'm probably going to take a look at it later.
Just regular boxing stuff. But, totally huge opportunity, man. Thanks to Lornell.
Lornell Stovall?
Yeah.
Nice.
Man. He brought me on to double Van Damme in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What an awesome dream, man.
So going from 6 years old when I said I want to be like Jean-Claude Van Damme to being in that moment sitting next to Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So you got to train with him and stuff like that? Because as a double, you are training together and you're like spending a lot of time together.
Man, for weeks, to get that fight scene down.
That's awesome.
And like I said, man, it all just came full circle. I talked about it when I was 6.
Yeah.
Years later, I'm standing next to Jean-Claude Van Damme just doing my thing.
You manifested that.
Totally.
That's
I totally believe in manifesting.
That's awesome.
Just tell the universe what you want, and you'll get it.
You have to say it out loud, because then there's a sense of accountability that since you said it, now you kind of have to push yourself through it.
That's
if
right.
you keep it inside, you can get away with, well, nobody knows that I said that, so I don't necessarily have to risk failure.
Totally. Absolutely.
Spending time with Jean-Claude Van Damme, I know that, and I'm not going to ask you to do this, maybe at some other point in time.
The split, come on.
The split, the dance from Kickboxer.
Oh, yeah. I can do it all, baby. It's going to take me a little bit a little bit longer to warm up now and get into the split, but I can still do it, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you had to like try to like copy his mannerisms and his like way of fighting too, right?
Well, I mean, I grew up, you
Yeah.
know, watching his stuff, you know, all of his movies. So especially, you know, his dance stuff. I mean, I do that, you know, every weekend when I go to the club, you know. So, I mean, I already got that dance in me. But, yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean, just studying his work, you know, all these years, it was just real easy to pick up on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see this one. Oh, wait, rewind that because that was this is from Southpaw.
Yeah, this was a movie,
Yeah.
Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Whoa.
I pretty much just took a Mercedes S550 and just slammed it straight into a tree.
Slammed it straight into the tree. Now, was that a rental? Did you guys get the full insurance on that one?
I took the insurance out.
Woo! What's this? What's this one from?
This is Gotham, a full Firebird on Gotham.
Nice.
This is Blacklist. This is Blacklist falling out of the
The ceiling.
A couple of ratchet pulls. This is Double and Jake again on End of Watch.
Oh, so you got to double Jake Gyllenhaal more than once. That's awesome.
This was an episode of House.
Yeah, right back at home for you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know what this feels like. Oh, is that White Lotus?
This is CSI Miami, actually. Doing some scuba diving stuff.
I
This is a
remember
movie
that.
13 years ago.
Oh, man.
India.
Yeah, in India. Incredible India. Good times.
And this is Never Back Down.
Never
Movie
back down. Yeah, you were doubling Cam
that
Gigande,
movie.
right?
Movie that we did here in Orlando.
Yes. You know, a lot of people like that movie. We're going to talk about that movie one of these days. I think I'll have Matos back on and we'll talk about Never Back Down. Nice. Awesome. All right, so you were a fighter. Then you became a stuntman. And now here's where I really wanted to get to because you said you wanted to be like Van Damme. You got an opportunity to double Van Damme, but doubling your hero isn't the same thing as like
Being the
actually
hero?
being your hero. Yeah, like I think about like Jackie Chan. He doubled Bruce Lee, or he doubled one of the guys in one of Bruce Lee's movies, and he became like, you know, he was actually sought out to be the next Bruce Lee. And that's just really cool how a lot of people kind of go through that journey is, hey, you get to be close and then you're almost on the same level.
Yeah.
So recently you have been not just doing stunts. You've actually been doing like acting. Like, you know, at some point people are going to be doubling you. And I mean, that's got to
Maybe I'll give you a call.
Yeah, I think I just have to put on a little bit more makeup, you know, I don't know. Or yeah, a lot more, maybe make the lights a little brighter for me. But yeah, so what have you been doing recently now? What have you been doing recently?
Well, yeah, it's this huge transition that I'm going through right now because I, you know, started in the stunt business, but that whole time that I was doing stunts for the past, I don't even know, 10 years or probably even more, I just been reinvesting into myself. So no matter where I am, if I'm in New York shooting a show or LA, I'm constantly in class. I'm constantly in acting classes, constantly, you know, just making connections. All the producers and directors that I've worked for, you know, over the years, you know, keeping those relationships going. And now they're like, well, why am I going to hire, you know, an actor and then I have to hire a stunt guy when I could just hire you because you could do it both?
So they were like, wait, we wanted to hire you as a stunt guy. We just got to figure out an actor to for you to double. And wait, let's just make you the actor.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And actually, for those of you who don't know Dave, like, you know, we've been in this business for a while, and there's a lot of different types of people. And there's the kind of like go-getter that loves to talk about themselves. They're all over Instagram. They're all over Facebook, and they're just constantly posting stuff. And then there's those people that kind of feel a little disingenuous. Dave is not that way at all. Like, that's the thing about you is that you are definitely a go-getter, but you're not that kind of... I don't want to say there's anything wrong with it either, like a self-promoter, because there's nothing wrong with being a self-promoter, because in many ways you are a self-promoter. But I mean about that whole disingenuous aspect of it. You know, like you were really working hard, and you were definitely humble throughout this whole process. Like, if we went right now to like look at through your Instagram history, we probably wouldn't see a lot of posts Am I right?
And a lot of followers too. It's like I wasn't brought up in that era, you know, and it's just hard for me to. And I think it also comes down to the martial arts, you know, the discipline, and it's just that whole upbringing, and like I said, that discipline, that
The self-reflection.
You just never talk about yourself or
Right.
your achievements. Let other people do that
Yes.
if they want to, but you know, you set goals for yourself, you know, and then you achieve that goal and you move on to the next goal. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now with the stunts and the acting, because I've done all the gags pretty much in stunts. Not that I don't love it, I still love the game, but you know, with my training, you know, acting is kind of a new challenge for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I get to explore, you know, something different, you know, and that's what I like, you know, achieving something different, exploring something different, you know, and I think that's how we grow as people.
I completely 100% agree with you. And I think that maybe you feel like you've done this already, so it's like, why not bring on the next challenge and see how far you can get with that?
Yeah.
And then one of these days, maybe you get to like actually go head to head against Van Damme and then realize another dream, right? No, I really appreciate that about how what you said about you just don't talk about yourself. And again, nothing against that, because that's the real challenge about this business is how do people get to know you if you don't talk about yourself? Because if you're new, no one's going to talk about you because they don't know you. So the only way you can actually like inform people about your abilities is if you talk about yourself. And it's one of those things. It's like a catch-22. Sometimes a lot of people don't appreciate that. You know, they hate that, and yet that's what you gotta have to do.
Yeah.
So for you to actually make it this far, you know, without having been brought up like that, is, I think, in and of itself an achievement. And it just goes to show what kind of person that you are. And I think that's why we're friends.
And I think it also comes down to the work, the quality of work. I think the work speaks for itself, and I really don't think you really need to say much.
Right.
As long as you produce the product and the product is there and it's believable, the work speaks for itself,
Sure
man.
it does, yeah.
And you know, people will notice that. You know, directors notice that, producers know. It's a funny story. It all goes back to, you know, work ethic, and you know, that drive. I've started as an extra, you know what I mean? And I did my time on set, and it's a funny story. I was actually on set of a major TV show in LA, right? And I was actually talking to the producer, the main producer of the show.
And you were an extra?
I was just an extra, right? And I had my cop uniform on, and I had to walk up and down the street pretending I was patrolling the street. And I'm talking to the head producer on this show. And they go, all right, you know, scene is up, blah, 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 blah. And the producer was actually in a full-on conversation with me. I actually told him, hold on, hold that thought. I'll be right back.
Because you had to work.
I have to go do my job. I went and I did that scene, and I came back, and he looked at me different. 5 years later, I get a call from that same producer offering me a role, because he remembered that moment.
Are you serious?
Where I actually shut him down because I had to go do what I was hired to do.
Right.
And then he remembered that, you know, and it just goes back to, again, that work ethic thing, man. You
That's
know,
awesome.
just stay humble, do your job, do it the best you can, and it will get noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Brett, could you cue up the acting reel, because I do want to watch that before we move on to my next avalanche of questions, because I have a lot of questions about how you kept yourself busy throughout some of the slow times, because everyone's going to have slow times.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So the acting reel, yeah, here it is. Yeah.
I thought Jim was the only one who knew about this, and you took care of that a long time ago.
Well, he showed up. So I put a bullet in his chest.
Sir, what?
The demon escaped. He's in the wind. You know, a girl did run in here for a card. She was in a hurry to get back to her room. I guess I forgot to log it.
Why was she in a hurry?
No idea. She didn't talk much. She just took the card and headed towards the Westgate.
Not towards her sorority?
I don't know if she was in a sorority. I need to get going.
Yeah, one more quick question, actually. When'd you get the shiny new boots?
How'd you even find me?
Ah, you were a bad guy. Now I know why you want to play
the
these
only
bad
one you
guys.
got.
I got caught.
All right, look, I'm as upset about this as you are.
I kind of doubt that.
Really? Look at things from my perspective.
What about my perspective? I'm just a guy trying to get laid.
Oh, there it is.
Sorry. Well, as soon as we push your fat B-25s overboard, we'll we'll be able to take down the whole Imperial Air Force in no time.
Hey, that role was made for you, man.
Yeah, typical.
Vinny the gangster.
And then after that, what? Joey Little Knife, Panini, Willie Buffalino. How about Mr. Manzano himself? Come on. This was a pretty crazy day on set.
You shot all this in one day?
Yeah.
Drop it! Did you sue my husband? Laura.
Go down to the courthouse. Get my lawyer.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So before I forget, actually, you were Agent Johnson on a Netflix show, Daredevil, which is so awesome.
Season 3.
That is awesome, man.
And funny story about that.
Yeah.
I went into the casting office in New York, Julie Schubert Casting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. But that was supposed to be one episode, dude.
Really?
I read for one episode, and it turned into 9 episodes later. They kept Agent Johnson in. So it just goes to show you, man.
Is it just like the writing that like kept it in? I mean,
I guess the writers just loved the character, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They knew, you know, I guess I could do the action, and they knew I could do the acting, which also helped. But one episode, I was casted.
That's awesome,
And it led
dude.
to 9, and then I was
you get that call, you hear it, like
Yeah.
they want you on again. You're like, dude, like, and then your imagination just starts kicking in. Like,
I
where
know.
can I go with this, right?
And then I was supposed to come back in season 4, but then stuff happened.
They cut it, man. So because at the end of season 3, spoiler alert, so just kind of scrub fast. If at the end of season 3, your character is obviously still alive
Yes.
and is still a bad guy.
Yes.
And there was like this vacuum between one of the main villains in season 3. So do you suspect that maybe your character might have, I don't know, maybe climbed the ranks and become the next big bad guy?
I don't know. But I was excited for it, man. That's all I know,
yeah.
man. But we'll see. They might come back, you know. We'll
That's
see what
awesome.
Disney Plus does.
Now that you're in the Netflix sort of like ecosystem there, I know that we had talked previously about something that you had done. What were you working on recently with Netflix?
Well, it just goes to show you, work leads, you know, your work pays off. You know, people notice your work. So I got an opportunity. I got a call from a casting director and a producer, and they said, we want you to put yourself on tape or come into the office. So I went into the office and did my audition, and I wound up landing another 6 episodes on a new TV show called Hit and Run. Another
Netflix series, 6-episode run for you. Now, is this like a full 10-episode sort of Netflix series, or is it a 6-episode thing?
Yeah, it's a 10-episode series.
Okay.
We shot half of the series in New York. I got 6 out of the 10, which, hey.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we shot half of the series in New York, and then we had to go to Tel Aviv, Israel, to finish the other half. So
I know Tel Aviv is real, but where did I don't know that's a bad joke.
Yeah.
Bad joke.
What? Hold on, now let me get my. No. But yeah, so I just finished in New York.
That's
went
awesome.
Straight over to Tel Aviv.
And you got to meet Gal Gadot over there, I'm sure, right?
No,
Yeah.
she wasn't over there.
I'm just kidding.
Well, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
But then all of a sudden, this thing happened.
Yeah,
COVID-19.
I know. COVID-19 really wrecked a lot of plans for some people.
And you know, I was going, you know, the start of this year, I was going gangbusters. I had that TV show, so I finished that. I don't know if I'm going to go back to Israel because we still have to finish the last episode.
Oh, wait. So you're still in production when
They're still in production, but everything got halted
okay.
because of, you know, this virus that's going around.
yeah.
So that got. So then they flew me from Israel back to L.A., which I landed the season finale of Lucifer.
Oh, what?
It was a great character, man. I mean,
And this is acting. This is not even stunts anymore. This is acting.
well, I get to do my own stunts, which is awesome.
Which is even better.
With this character. So, got that role. So I said, okay, Israel didn't work out. Maybe I'll go back and, you know, be able to finish that series. Went back to L.A., was so excited about this season finale of Lucifer. I mean, it's going to be, I can't really talk about it right now because we haven't shot it yet.
Right.
But this character is, I'm telling you, man, wait till you see this. Hopefully we get to shoot it. But then I was ready to go to work the next day, and then Warner Brothers shut down. So I'm like, what? So then took a little break from L.A., came back to Florida, which I was supposed to do a movie with you.
I know.
Over in Cape Canaveral.
I know,
right?
yeah. What a bummer.
We were supposed to take the space shuttle or something to the moon and do some fight scene or some crazy thing. No, I'm just
Not
kidding.
yet. The next one. On the next one.
But I was excited for that movie to come back to Orlando and do a movie with you, which I haven't been on set with you. Well, we've done some stuff.
I think we did The Replaceables, but I don't think we were on set at the same time.
Yeah.
We weren't on set at the same day.
But the last time we were like real on set was 13 years ago in India. So I was excited to come back to
the
Florida.
last time we fought each other
Was in India.
Yeah. So we would have fought each other again in this movie. So
I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then that production got halted because of... we're just in this waiting period, man, to see what happens.
I feel you, man.
Going back to getting yourself ready. You know, there's a saying, be ready.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get ready.
Yep.
And I think this is the perfect time. People are like, well, how are you dealing with this whole quarantine
That's a perfect
thing?
segue, because I was just going to
Right?
ask you about that. Yeah.
It's like, well, as actors, we're used to this, right? Because we work and then we don't work, right?
That's right.
And then it's just a dry spell.
There could be a drought for like 6 months.
Yeah. So right now, what are we at? 2 months? Or maybe a month and a half or whatever? This is the perfect time to get ready. And I've been doing that. Just sitting here having a conversation with you, putting in the work. This is the work right here. Updating your headshots or getting new headshots if that's something that you
I'm
can...
so bad at that. Guilty as charged. Guilty.
But I mean, with the times that we're dealing with now, if it could be safe and 6 feet
Right.
away and doing all that, but getting new headshots, updating your acting resume, getting online, and I don't want to get too much into that. If people are interested, I could talk more about websites and stuff where you could actually put your information on. But getting those websites up to date, mailing casting directors, going through the books and finding casting directors,
That's a new one. I've never heard of that one before. Actually. Yeah.
And just practicing.
Right,
Filming yourself in your living room, take out a monologue or a script from a scene and just see how you look on camera. What do you do that...
Is like TikTok, is that going to work? Because I do TikTok. Does that count? Is
dances,
that like part of practicing? And
hey, it helps, man. Because you can see what looks good and what doesn't look good, right?
Totally just kidding.
But it's just putting in the work, putting in the time. And you might not see the results right away, but you will. You know what I mean?
I feel like your life has kind of been... everything kind of all led up to this.
Yeah.
Because you can use that, for what you're doing now.
And going back to that, I feel like everything that you do in life is leading you up to that thing.
Yeah.
Or the next thing. It doesn't have to be that thing, but it's leading you up to the path that you're supposed to be taking. So all these opportunities from being a martial artist and, training 3 times a day and blah 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 blah, and then doing the stunt work, and then taking the big wrecks, and and then being able to now step into the acting world. I mean, it's just all leading up to, and that's what I said, the game is about longevity, and if you don't have longevity in the game, you're not going to last this business.
That's a really good point to kind of end on, because I think that is something that we need to remember, is that stay in the game, no matter how many failures you've had, no matter how many relationships you may have ruined because of the way that you used to be, you can still pick up and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Stay humble, do the work, and the rest will take you, man.
I love it. I wish we had more time to talk about our own experiences, like in India. That movie Extraction's out now, and it seems like a lot of movies are being shot in India.
Yeah.
We did a movie together in India back in 2007.
13 years ago,
Wow,
man.
it's nuts, man. That's crazy. We'll have to talk about that some other time.
Cool.
I'd love to have you back. And as David mentioned, if anybody has any questions, we'd like to kind of maybe turn this into learning from people who've already done it. And local people that personally, you just maybe never thought, let me ask these kinds of questions. We'd love to entertain those kinds of questions. Don't ask me because I don't know anything. I'm just hosting this thing. So we'll have guests like David Buglione come on and talk about what kind of things they've done to get to where they're at, and tips and tricks, and maybe some shortcomings and some failures that you can learn from, what not to do. I think that'd be great if we could have you back on again.
Dude, let's get the questions rolling, man.
All right.
I'd be more than happy to come
Who knows
back.
how long this quarantine is going to take. So.
I know, right?
All right, so we're finishing it up. Hey, guys, thanks again for joining us all. Thank you, Mr. Buglione, for your
Thank you, man.
contribution.
Appreciate you.
Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so that you get notified of when the next one of these videos comes on. Until then, stay safe.
Peace.
Thanks, Brett. That was a lot better this time, actually. Yeah. Dude, 13 years. 13
Yeah.
years ago. That's insane.